The chief executive of the Solomon Islands Submarine Cable Company says repair work on the country's domestic cable should be completed next week. The cable was damaged in May by a Taiwanese fishing boat, which had dropped her anchor in a no-go zone near the cable landing in Honiara. Services to Malaita, Western and Chusil provinces were impacted by the breakage at the time and are still being propped by a microwave link and expanded satellite broadband coverage. Koroi Hawkins spoke with cable company CEO Kia Preedy and began by asking about the initial incidents which damaged the internet cable.
The cable was damaged on the 10th of May by a Taiwanese purse seiner fishing vessel illegally anchoring in the middle of the no anchoring zone marked by 4 yellow flashing marker buoys. She pulled up the cable and damaged it sufficiently that the domestic stopped working. It was very close to the international cable. The two cables are only 50 metres apart under the water at that distance, which is why we protect them with the no anchoring zone. And from what we can see, there was no service interruption to the international cable, but the domestic cable that connects Honiara to our 3 provincial centres in Aoki in Malaita, Noro in the Western Province, and in Taro in Choiseul Province ceased at that time. They stopped. So we're part of a thing called the South Pacific Marine Maintenance Agreement, which is a consortium of about 30 cable operators and owners throughout the South Pacific region. And once we'd collected a bit of information, we called out the support vessel to come and do the repair for us. But we've just been waiting in the queue since then because the vessel had to finish a small job, then it had to go to Apia to pick up the required spare parts, which is in our case a particular kind of replacement cable, double armoured, which we keep in the store at Apia, and also some jointing kits so that they can effect the repair. She had to wait a while in Apia because of other shipping coming in and out, so she didn't leave Apia until the 3rd of July, and she then proceeded to complete the repair on the Tongan domestic network, which was carried over from the volcano in early 2022. She achieved that and turned around and headed straight for Honiara, and she arrived into Honiara on the morning of the 19th, and she began work straight away. So we're currently in the stage of performing tests and using the remote operated vehicle to go down and check the situation before they commence any retrieval and cutting operations. They need to be careful because those two cables are very, very close together, and we don't want to cut the international one by mistake.
The service to the 3 provincial centres mentioned, that's been supported in some way while the cable's been out of action, has it?
By our customers, they have backup means. So the main customer is our telecom, the largest telco in Solomon Islands. Aoki is close enough that there is a microwave backup, so Aoki never really experienced a great deal of problem. For the Western Province, all of the players out there, and it's about three out of the 5 customers we have, had to go and get extra satellite bandwidth from their other providers because they use satellite in areas where the cable doesn't cover anyway. But they had to ramp up satellite capacity and re-engineer the services. So there was a few days of disruption in the Western Province before they got that back up again. And services, they're working, but they're not as good as they would be if the cable was back on. So they're all very keen now to get it back working.
For sure. And how do you have an estimate on the time on the repair, or is that all still just being worked out now?
No, we've got an estimate about it. I mean, we're learning every day, but the repair should take around about 5 or 6 days from the boat arriving. So we expect to have it done by the 25th, 26th.
Cost-wise, how much does this set you back? Is it much of a problem or just part of routine operations?
No, it's a big problem. It's between ourselves and the impact to our customers. It's several million US, and so I can't be specific about that because we are obviously taking action against the vessel owners in that respect.
Right, and can you say anything about that? I understand the vessel's still impounded in Point Cruz?
That's correct. It's actually, yes, she's anchored off of Rove right now, which is the west of Point Cruz. We took legal action against the vessel owners, and under the maritime law, the vessel was arrested, so it can't leave.
And that's just before the courts, is it? Do you have any timelines on that?
No, they're still working out some finer points of the representation on that. So we don't have a definite time, but we could get an early hearing from it if we needed to. So, obviously we keep up a degree of dialogue with the vessel owners as well through their lawyers, and potentially providing we get the right amount of recompense, we don't mind whether it's an out-of-court settlement or we have to use the court to do it.